Oh yeah.
What's
Are you guys
happening?
full
Carmine
screen?
Danisco here, guys, and we are live with another show of Made in America. My good friend, Mr. Christopher Guerrera, loves this show. What's happening, Chris?
Hey Carmine, how we doing today? I figured
I'm
I'd give you
doing
my
good.
made in the USA sign.
I know. I saw
Let's
that. I
go,
got a big flag
baby.
behind me. Yeah, man.
Yes, made in America.
We're
That
happening.
is what's happening.
Yeah, we're happening, my friend. No doubt about it. What's going on? We got a bunch of good stuff happening today.
Yeah, I think as we progress with this show, it's been just a lot of fun. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. Now we're having on, real entrepreneurs, guys that have started their business and started a product, and a lot of good stories. It's not what everyone might think it is. You come up with a product and 6 weeks later it's in retail. It's not quite like that, right? It's a lot of work.
Oh, it's not? What are you talking about?
A lot of work.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I know that you've been really working hard to get your products and a lot of your clients' products into some of the major retailers. We got to do some shows on the time frame and different things that you need, because a lot of people think once their product's done, like instantly, I'm going to put it, go over to Target and put it on the shelves, right? It's a lot of work.
I just told you the experience I had with Home Depot. It was a 4 month
4 months.
exploration. and it was
and what's funny about it, 4 months and you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and it was a lot of follow-up, like constant follow-up, to finally I said, okay, like, guys, what do you need from me? I gave you everything you've asked for. All the item masters are filled out, the insurance forms are done, like the plant is ready, we've got inventory, the pictures have been loaded. And I had one of the buyers say, okay, this guy's right. Like, you guys what are you people doing? Get this completed today. And so it took me some aggression, which I don't normally do with buyers, especially in the retail field. But I had to. I had no choice in this one. It was pure frustration of having it finished in 6 weeks, but 4 months later. Okay, so now the super potty trainer is in Home Depot.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. It's funny because you got to threaten him. You got to tell him, I'm going to stick the Ford Baldies on you, man.
Yeah, that's right. Don't make me get my Bic out or flex on you.
What else do you have going on, man? I know that that your plant, the U.S. Factories that you have, how are they faring through this pandemic?
Well, pretty interesting. They've been really good up until like about a week ago. COVID finally hit. So one of the guys got it, a couple of guys got it. So they just shut the plant down for a couple of days. And it seems like it's okay, but it's almost like inevitable. This whole COVID thing, man. It's like a cold, right? Like a flu. It just seems to be a lot more contagious. But man, my family's got it. My brother has it. His wife, one of his kids. I'm keeping myself surrounded by walls.
Yeah, well, I see you redid, your whole room there. It's like an entertainment room. You just get food delivered, and you never have to leave there.
I call this was a garage, right? I call it a kind of my entertainment room now, right? I got a huge screen door coming in with a walkway, so I can open it up, all the air come in. It's really a man cave. I mean, let's get right down to it, okay? Let's cut to the chase. This is a cover up.
But honey, I needed to do my shows.
Exactly. I needed a place. If I spun this around, like one wall is all my BMW cars when we first started to launch a BMW, the X5 and the Z3, and there's a lot of articles on me. It's on that wall. This wall is all my kid stuff, TV, some articles behind me. On the other side, everybody's got to have, and Anthony, soon I'll introduce him, but he knows I'm not a Tom Brady. Well, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I am a Tom Brady fan. A nice Tom Brady shirt with a light over it. I'm displaying it the way it should be, with a bright light for the GOAT.
Wow, that's awesome. You should have told me. I saw Tom Brady was on the golf course that I live on the other day. Him and a couple of buddies were playing on the 18th hole.
Wow. So I have some Tom Brady signed jerseys with the Patriots. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm not a. Sorry, Anthony. I know you're going to get upset, but I'm not a Boston fan. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I'm not a Celtics, only because of Chara. Right? I did some events with Chara, so I feel obligated there. But I need a Tampa Bay signed jersey. Right. So note to you, Carmen.
I'll try to get it.
Those.
I'll try to get it.
They're going for like $4,200.
Wow.
On wholesale.
Oh God. Wow. Hey, we should do a
Yeah,
sports
it's
show. That would
insane.
be fun. We should do a sports podcast. That would be fun.
I would love to, man. I've got like this is turning into that a little bit, right? But upstairs in my office, and it goes right through like a little bit of a sitting room that I have. It's all lined with jerseys. I've got Diggs and Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Anthony like that, Larry Bird. I've got Montana, Strahan. I've got Olympic
awesome.
shirts. I got a whole collection, signed balls, bats,
Wow.
basketballs. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Real quick before we bring our guest on, because our listeners are already going, "What the hell are these guys talking about?" What do you think of the M5, man? I love that car. I want to get one. Do you think the M4 is better or the M5?
I had an M4, an M5, and an M6.
Wow.
So, and now they have the M8. So if you really want to go for all of it, I would think, the M4 is a little smaller than the M5, right? And again, to the M6, it's about like an M5. M8, they're a little bit long, a little bit heavier, but that M6 is the nicest vehicle I've ever driven. I had the competition package. This is 2 years ago. I had 605 horsepower and 560 pounds of foot torque.
Wow.
It was like driving an airplane. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I'll tell you a great story. Had the car. I bought it in January, got a great deal, right? You don't buy those cars. You can't drive them in the winter in New Hampshire. So I got a good deal, picked it up, drove it. So I had it for 5 hours, drove it 80 miles. Went to a movie with Brandy, went to dinner, came out from dinner, and Brandy says, "There's a note on your windshield." I'm like, and I parked the car a mile away from everybody. So I'm like, okay, someone's probably busted my chops. Pick up the note. Said, "I saw accident. He hit you and ran. We chased him down. Here's my number." So some dude backed up into me, put a hole in my bumper. Okay, $4,000 bumper, put a hole in it. And the woman and her daughter chased him down. He tried to hit and run it.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Get home. The kid, I'm like, I had my car, literally 80 miles, 5 hours.
And you parked far away.
A mile away. I mean, that's always the complaint. I always drop everybody off at the door, and I park my car away from everybody, just for that reason. She said, "Oh yeah, he knew he hit you because the whole thing shook." Of course, you call the police. Police go and talk to him. He's like, "Yeah, I might have. I've done this before."
Yes, there you go. Well, that's kind of how you met our guest, right? He bought the M8, like a $250,000 car.
Absolutely, he's got the greatest product on the market, the spray away. Anthony Siragusa, no relations to any football players. He's got a great product, spray away. And we've been working on getting this made in the USA, but I'm going to let him talk more about it. This thing is, if you need to clean a toilet bowl, you don't have to use your bristles anymore. It's got a pump on it. This baby is like jet fuel. It is beautiful. I live by it now.
I need that.
Anthony, talk about it.
I need that. Even though, we might not want to talk about it. Guys need that wash part of it. I can tell you.
Boy, wait till he tells you how he invented it.
Well, let's bring him on, man. I got to hear this.
All right, Anthony, you're on, baby. So we did a show, right? We did a live virtual at Walmart, and we had Anthony tell the story. Oh my God, we had them laughing. They thought we had rehearsed it because I was throwing in, nice softballs for him to hit. And they were laughing. And most of them were women buyers. They were laughing. It was so funny. So welcome, Anthony. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So now you got to tell us the story.
All right, I will tell it. But real quickly, have you ever driven a Tesla?
I have not.
I have. Yeah, very nice.
I think I like that better than that M6. That's all I wanted to say.
Wait. Full disclosure, he has like 1,000 shares of Tesla, okay?
No. I'm just saying, it's like nothing you've ever been in. So try that and then get back to us.
I have heard it's a pretty cool car, though. I know some people who do have Teslas and said it's a pretty cool car.
So yeah, obviously when you're dealing with poop, it's a very weird, awkward thing to come about. But exactly. Disclosure, before I even get into my story, everyone should know that I've actually never once in my life scrubbed poop with the bristles. I never even knew that's what it was for. I thought it was just for cleaning the toilet once a week.
Yeah, so Anthony, start off by talking about your product a little bit, what it does, You know, what the benefits are, how it's different than your standard one, right? Talk about that, then talk about the story.
Okay, so my product, obviously it's spray away toilet brush. So it's a normal toilet brush with a built-in pump sprayer inside the shaft of it. So for example, if someone goes to the bathroom, they go number 2, they flush the toilet, and unfortunately there's a mark there, a skid mark. What do? In the past, all you could do was leave it, which is gross, or you scrub it with the bristles. And unfortunately, over time, the more you're scrubbing it with the bristles, poop's getting stuck in it, the bristles are getting dirty. And then later in the week, you're doing your weekly cleanings with dirty bristles. So obviously that's pretty gross. So with mine, after you flush the toilet, all you have to do, you dip the head of the bristles into the water, the clean water comes in. You just take in some of that water and you spray away the skid mark. Takes 2 seconds, keeps the bristles clean. So your bristles will literally never have to touch poop. And so later in the week, when you do your weekly cleanings, you're always going to have clean bristles. And yeah, it keeps it cleaner and it keeps it lasting longer. And for a lot of people, it just gives them another solution to that problem.
Yeah, you know, and this is before I really knew Anthony. I know him pretty well now. He sent me one. What was it? Ordersprayaway.com. He has a lot of videos you can see. Pretty cool, all the videos he has up on the website. But essentially, I said, I don't know, I'll give it a shot. I'll try it. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. I mean, it really does work. And the power behind the spray is pretty cool. And I think Anthony's even got some videos where he shows how far it can actually spray. So it has a lot of force behind it. And you're right, it absolutely works every single time. You never have to use the bristles for cleaning away poop. It's always a sensitive subject, right?
Poopless. It's poopless.
In regards to the water pressure, I mean, I've literally shot it 30, 40 feet. Yeah. So, I mean, anybody that thinks there's not enough pressure, there definitely is. And then if anybody thinks there's too much pressure, well, that's up to the user. So you just, you give it whatever you think it needs, you know? And you'll be surprised. It's actually kind of fun.
I mean, it is true, right? It's all in the amount of force that you push down. I mean, I did it at first, did the same thing, right? Really shot it and said, whoa, this thing's got some power. But then you control it, right? You control how much you want to work. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely a cool product. Has a nice little stand. I keep them, and it looks nice. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I keep it next to the toilet. Love it.
And that sticker does come off. That sticker is just for retail purposes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, Anthony, real quick. When you first got this idea, did you make some prototypes or what did you do?
So it was actually, this whole process has been very step-by-step for me. So when I first discovered it, I actually used a glass of water. And do you want me to go fully into the story here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
So I had been dating a girl who was in her last year of physician's assistant school. In the last year, you travel around to different locations, different hospitals, doctor's offices every 6 weeks. So it was a new relationship, and I would spend the whole weekend with her. She was in New York at the time. And for whatever reason, my diet, high protein, high fiber, I guess, I have this issue. So when it happened,
and we'll leave.
You can leave some stuff out.
We won't tell her name and where it was and all that. But
she doesn't need to know. She knows who she is.
Undisclosed location.
She knows who she is. So the first time it happened, I was like, "Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. What am I gonna do?" There was a glass in the bathroom. I felt, being a guy, to go really into this, a guy. Anytime you walk to the bathroom, if there's a mark in there, as a man, you can literally pee it away. So I had that thought in my head. It's weird, but it's true. I had that thought in my head. There was a glass in the bathroom. I filled it up with tap water, splashed it at it. It went away. I was like, wow, okay. You know what? The rest of the weekend, I'm all good. I figured that out. But this isn't a good long-term solution, obviously. So I actually have a brother with cerebral palsy, and we have a lot of medical syringes in my parents' house. So I got to thinking the next week, I got a 60 milliliter medical syringe. And next time it happened, I filled the glass with water, filled up the syringe, and rather than splash the glass, I got in close after I flushed the toilet with the syringe, sprayed it away. Worked perfectly.
Wow.
Perfectly. Point blank aim and everything, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like that's legitimately solving a problem. And I've always thought of ideas, but I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm like, but how, like, what are you gonna advertise, like a sprayer, a little syringe for the bathroom? Like, I don't know. So I was trying to think of a way to incorporate it in an existing product. So when I did bring it to market, it wouldn't be that big of a hurdle to sell. One morning after working out, I was coming out of the gym and it just hit me. The syringe would fit perfectly inside the shaft of a toilet brush. And that's when I first started taking the idea seriously. And there were a couple things before I went down the prototype road, but yes, then I did hire an engineer for the prototype.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll tell you from an engineering standpoint, that's one of the things we were talking about. He's currently making it abroad. We're going to bring it into the US, and that was part of the Walmart pitch, was made in USA. And I got a chance to really dissect it and look at it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty, it's well engineered. It's not really complicated. It's got some assembly features, but it lends itself to made into the USA. The only problem for me, we don't do bristles, right? So that's a whole nother process and identity, but this can become a purchase component that comes into the plant when we mold the other components, and then we'll assemble it. I mean, it's a piece that's assembled anyways. So there's viability. That's what we're working on. We're exploring all those different opportunities now.
Wow.
But I do feel pretty confident that I have someone that can do those bristles. So I'm almost 100% sure that we can do that.
Now, you're looking to make the bristles in the U.S. or have them shipped in?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident we can do everything over here.
Wow.
I'm just in a situation where I'm holding off another couple months. I got some things happening where I might need one big order out of China first. Yeah. But I do feel pretty confident we can get it over here and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want him to pull the tools until we had a little bank build, right? Because again, by the time his tools get here and we run them and evaluate them, I want him to have some inventory, so nobody's going dry on this.
Yeah. So Anthony, we're making it sound like you didn't make any missteps. Were there any issues you ran into?
No,
missteps.
So that's what I was trying to say. Before I even got to the prototype, I think I invested a year's worth of time. So lots of missteps. I obviously had no clue anything about inventing, and YouTube really became my friend. I watched a lot of things from a channel called Inventor, which I think, Chris, you know very well. I read books. Stephen Key has one simple idea, and then Lori Grenner has one called Invent It, Sell It, Bank It, which those two were huge for me, the learning process. But yeah, I mean, it took me a year. Actually, the first year I tried to license it with just the sell sheet, and probably got about 75 different no's from all the biggest companies.
Wow.
And so why didn't you license it?
Right. So basically what happened was I went through that whole process and the whole licensing process, and it was rejection after rejection after rejection, which, can wear on you. But it was at that point I actually bought Lori Grenner's book. I watch a lot of Shark Tank, and I bought her book, and she had a thing, a survey you should do with a list of about 10 to 12 questions. And one of the questions was, do you think this is better than the normal toilet brush? And I had like 78% of people respond saying they thought it was a better option than the normal brush. Actually, it was 2% higher for women too, which was very important for me because I do feel like in joint households, women do the majority, or they might be the ones that buy that item. So that made me feel very good too. And Lori said, if you have an idea that was just improving upon an existing product, you can be down in the teens or the 20s because the market's already proven for it. So when mine was that high, I really decided, and I checked out on all her other questions, I really decided, you know what, I'm going to look into this more and really take a look at manufacturing it. And it's just every time I use it, I feel so good about it. And that was at that point, I was like, you know what, I got to go for this. I'm not going to forgive myself if I don't. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think you made the right move because it's very different. It does solve a real problem, you know, and nobody likes talking about poop. I mean, I think squatty potty in the early stages, right? It's an uncomfortable thing. Now they promote it. They talk about it all the time. You know, they have t-shirts, did you poop today? So it's become the norm. And in this case, it's a real problem. I mean, everybody goes to the bathroom, right? You're solving a real problem. And I really do like it. I think it has a lot of merit, you know, and that's the big thing now is getting the right audience, right? Who is seeing it? So talk a little bit about your steps on the whole, you know, the marketing side, social media, your wins, your losses, because I think a lot of us have similar features about social media. It has limited capability, right? You're trying to get the mass audience, so you get a percentage of who's interested in buying it. But even that, the social media, right? You spend a lot of ad money or as seen on TV. So talk about that a little bit, because I'm not sure everyone feels they're getting a payback on it.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things I've learned over this process is it's very hard to decide what to spend your money on and what not to spend your money on. Because I mean, you can just throw it out there every day of the week. So I would say the things on social media that I've actually had the most success with, and the problem with this is, before I even say it, it doesn't have a good bad in percentage, but when you hit it right, it's very good, was an influencer. If an influencer had vouched for my product, I actually would get better conversions on that. But the only problem is it's been very difficult to find ones to either A, do it for free, or a very cheap price. So if you want a heavy hitter, I mean, you're gonna have to pay lots of money. So that's a good way to go, but you're just gonna have to really grind it out and try and sort through the different people and maybe contact 100 people, and only 3 or 4 of them are gonna be worth it, you know?
Boy, key word there, grind it out. That is a fact. Because if you're not willing to put the time in to grind it, I mean, you talk about the Home Depot experience for me.
Yeah.
I could have let it go, and today we still be talking about it. It wouldn't be an Home Depot. I had to grind it, keep sending emails, make phone calls, to a point where I reached a level of frustration that I responded accordingly, and I took action. So you're 100% right. There's no easy 1, 2, 3 step. There's a process. It's a process. You know,
Right.
With Super Potty Trainer, I had the right window, and we had to make it happen in 2 weeks. It's unheard of. It just happened to be the right window, right, when we had the tooling done to get it in. But mostly, I mean, Carmine, you could speak about that. It'll take a year, 2 years. I thought people have worked on things for 3 to 4 or 5 years, you know, and still working at it.
Yeah. And you know, with 1,000,000%, the other thing is that, Anthony, obviously you're fighting is the type of product that you're selling, which is obviously, but the great part about it is you can take notice from some of the other big players within the industry. Like, there's a reason that there's animated bears that sells toilet paper. You know, there's a reason for that,
Yeah.
you know, so you can take those cues and be
You're
able
not
to
talking
do
about
that.
Charmin, are you?
You know,
It's funny. I listened to a program in the morning, honest to God, they must be paying so much money to sponsor these guys. I know the DJ, and I sent him an email saying, dude, like, I can only listen to your show for 2 hours out of the 4, because I can't hear any more commercials about Charmin. He goes, dude, I have no control of that. It's a sales department. But you're right, it's in your face all day long, and then made it sensitive, right? And put a little cute, cuddly bear.
Correct. So there's ways to do it, and there's reasons that animation really gets through to all people. You know, it's not exactly for a certain people. So animations, for some reason, our brains take that information in better than an actual person talking, because that one person can only relate to a certain type of demographic. But animations at a cute little bears or whatever they're doing really works well. So there's a lot of things you can do for your product. The great part is you've already gone over those hurdles. You have a great product. Now we just got to figure out a way to get in front of people.
That's it. This is where the marketing, where people truly leave that little clause out. That's probably once you have a good working product that you know can sell, that's one of the most important features, is now getting it out so everyone can see it and use it. And you got a little bit of a different thing that you're dealing with, Anthony, right? Talk about that a little bit. I could buy a brush, toilet brush, scrape it off for $2, right?
Yeah, so I'm
Throw it-
essentially
throw it away
trying
later.
to convince people, hey, you buy a toilet brush, obviously. Most people have one for each bathroom in their house. And I'm essentially trying to convince people to spend a little more money for my added feature. And so that's really what I need to try and sell. And it's kind of an awkward thing to sell because, again, no one talks about skid marks. But I do look at companies like Poopery and Squatty Potty, and they made it happen, and they were introducing a completely new product to market where I'm just hoping people buy an upgrade. I'm not trying to make everybody buy a brand new product. So I do have confidence that, just over time and getting it out there and getting it in front of enough faces and getting enough people trying it and getting reviews that I still have confidence in it. Over 2 years down this road of a lot of rejections, and then you get a few positive things happening, and you're right back on the horse, ready to go, and with confidence. So
yeah, and we know for a fact that Walmart liked it, right? That's a big step. A big company like Walmart, right? Large distribution. They love the story. They love the product. So, but again, it's back to that grind. You got to sell the benefit, because again, if I don't want to spend $20 on this, I go buy a $2 unit and I don't know, maybe I clean it. It doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense. I'm cleaning off poop and then I'm washing it later. It's kind of disgusting. Or I throw it out and I buy another one. When you have one right now, you don't even need to do that. You can truly spray it away.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. The good part is, Anthony, is that I myself would rather be the most expensive product on the market than the lowest cost product on the market. It's just where I'd rather be, because there's always going to be someone who will race you to the bottom and go out of business. So being the most expensive, you have the ability to reach out to people who want to spend that little bit more, or that quality, or that ease, or that extra that it does. And, and Chris talks about this. I talk about this. Most of the people that have been doing this a long time is that you don't need everyone. Everyone comes to me all the time and goes, oh, I just need 1%, or I just need 10%. You don't need everyone. You need a small amount of people that appreciate a good product, that have that problem, and you just need to get your idea or get your advertising or whatever in front of them. It really is, you want to have the top echelon of people that will appreciate your product, and then they'll pay for it. And you can do it, because if you have a good product, you've already, as I mentioned earlier, you already have a good product. Now you're going to make it in the US. You're going to have a good factory within Chris. I mean, you're getting closer to the point where you're going to be there to sell it.
And that's the key. Like I have the same problem with Tiny Hook, right? It's unique, it's different. It sits on the side of the seat, gives you another compartment. But I have to convince people that why would they take their cup and throw it on the floor, or their receipts and throw it in the door jamb? They can just reach over and drop it in a nice, a leak-proof, tear-resistant bag. And it's a really high quality product, great elastomer, so it handles the cold and the hot temperatures. And it's not a cheap, brittle plastic that's going to break 3 or 4 times. I have the same exact sell point that I think Anthony has, really. And it's convincing them why they need it, and then giving them all the other benefits. But it's back to mass audience, and it took a little while, and you can see it's slowly growing. And the best news you can get is when somebody buys it. I was told you about this woman the other day that called me, Carolyn. She absolutely loved it. She said, you know what? This has been a problem forever. We always say it's a 100-year-old problem, but forever, she said, it's never been solved until now. Yep. So the best advertisement, right, is from your customer that bought it.
Agreed. They
want to buy it again.
Yeah. The worst thing that you could possibly run into with a product is not know what the problem that your customers are having. You can solve your problem, but this is pretty straightforward. You're solving an exact problem, but you're also filling in those gaps, saying, well, it's a 2-for-1. It's a brush. It also solves an exact problem. So I think it's a great idea, great product. I think that you should be higher priced than anyone anyway, because it does multiple things. So, man, I think you're in a good position with this.
Yeah, and one thing else I should mention too, I don't know if you have heard of this. There's a Clorox wand and it's a disposable toilet bowl cleaner. So that's when I mentioned Squatty Potty and Poopery before, the Clorox wand, in my opinion, probably justifies that my product is valid and there's a need for it more than anything in the world. I mean, clearly they invented that because people think toilet brushes are gross.
Yep.
And in my opinion, toilet brushes are gross because they're in there touching everything and it's festering in it and it's disgusting. Well, my brush gets rid of that problem. And the Clorox wand is a great idea, but some people might have a problem with flushing it down the toilet, and it gets very expensive. It's just like, shaving your face. You can only use that blade for so long, you got to replace it.
Yeah.
But the Clorox wand, you got to replace it after every use. So it adds up. So even though my product might be a little more than a regular toilet brush, I'm still coming in under that. So that whole market, which is a very big, and they've had a lot of success with that market, I mean, they're just ripe for my product. And so that was another thing that really justifies to me that I got something good here.
Yeah, I agree. With a little bit of, I think what you're doing is perfect. A little bit more research. You can feed off of what the big guys are doing, take pieces of all the advertising, talk what they're talking about. I agree with you 100%. You have no problem. I don't think you're going to have a problem selling it. We just got to get it out there and get the right message. It's going to take some testing. Once that message is perfected, you have the manufacturing in place. It's going to be cool, man. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and I think the more that we can network, right, in groups and get people to see it and expose it, I think the better off. And having it on the shelf in retail is only going to help.
Yeah, and I would 100% agree with that. I go after LinkedIn pretty hard. There was a good stretch for probably 5-6 months where I was literally on there 30 minutes every day, trying to connect with anybody in the household goods industry, or anybody that does marketing, or anybody that I thought might give me an advantage. I was connecting with them, and I've really grew my network that way. And I would 100% recommend that to anybody. And now I probably get 7-8 different people every day messaging me now.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of go through it, see if something might be useful or whatever,
That's good.
And so I do feel my network growing too. And obviously Chris has been great. I would never be here right now without Chris. So that was another great connection.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Anthony. I feel the same way about you. I mean, it's been fun working with you. And you talk about some of these other big guys like Scrub Daddy and Squatty Potty. It wasn't like, a 2-year venture. I think Aaron was like 3 years before he was on Shark Tank. And then, he got a big audience now, right? People are trying it. They like it. It's a good product. I knew about that product before I knew Aaron. And then after I met Aaron, it was just that much easier because he's a good dude. Really enjoy, talking to him and hanging out with him. And then Judy had the same thing. She had been going and going and going. And it, Shark Tank changed their lives. It blew it up. And again, it's back to an audience. People seeing it. Like we're trying to get on Good Morning America and Menard. So all these opportunities are just going to continue to grow the baseline. And then it, at some point it will take off because it's a great product. When you get it and use it, it's the most important thing, right? It's a great product.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I ran into and other entrepreneurs might run into is that we try to talk to everyone. And instead of talking to everyone, we just need to talk to people that will listen, because when you try to talk to everyone, then no one listens. So when you go for too big of an audience, you find out that your message just gets dissolved. No one really knows because you're not specific enough for that particular audience. So I think the way that you're doing it, find the people that are having that problem, talk to just them, and then your product will grow. But if we try to talk to everyone, our message just gets lost.
Right. I agree. And I will say that's a hard thing to find the niche market that you're looking for, but I do feel like I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
Especially with like when you talk about social media ads, it takes a while to find the area, the audience that you might think work best to at least start with anyways.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said.
Because we think, again, when I say I'm an inventor, we're all inventors. We think that I got to talk to everyone. I want everyone to want my product. But it's very hard for us as inventors because we're so excited to really narrow it down and just start slowly because we want to come out gangbusters,
Of course.
So yeah, I've learned that the hard way. We all have, it's okay for us to talk about mistakes, but just from this show, if any of our listeners are really taking notes, specifically. Talk to a specific audience at first. Pick a market, pick a demographic, and just talk to them. If it's a good product, it will grow on its own.
Yeah, and start with a nice introduction. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I get a LinkedIn request, and it's not the place, but it's like a 2-page life history, you know, background story. I mean, everyone's busy, and that's an immediate turnoff. Right? Start with something small, do a nice intro, and then let it happen. But I mean, you start, like I said, I don't even know who you are, but you just wrote me a 2-page report, and I'm thinking, I don't have time to read the first 3 lines. You want me to read 2 pages of it? But you know, I get it. They want to get out and talk about it, and it's exciting, but it's a turnoff. It's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Start with a nice lead-in. I mean, that's I think how me and Anthony met, right? It was a nice lead-in.
I just sent you a quick Facebook message. That was it.
Right, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it was quick enough that I try to respond to everybody. I just think it's professional that if somebody took time out to email me or text me, I feel like I owe them a response. I know some people don't work that way. I do. I mean, I think when I was on Good Morning America, I had 10,000 comments and I answered every single one of them. I remember Brandy saying to me, like, what are you doing? 3 days later, I said, I'm trying to answer every single one of them. I did. I mean, it sounds a little crazy, but I felt like if someone took time out, right, to contact me, I owe them something. But when it's a 2-page report, it's like, Lord.
I think that's great. I think that's awesome, man.
I use 2 lines. I just want to know the headlines, right? If I want to know the details of the paper, I'm going to open it up, right? So so we start with the headlines, and then we'll get into the details.
That's awesome. Well, we got about 2 minutes left, Chris. What else we have ongoing? This has been awesome. When do you guys think? And again, I'm not holding you to. When do you guys think this product's going to be available to our listeners?
Well, it's available now. You can buy it right now.
Wow,
so
it's great.
It's on Amazon. It's
ordersprayaway.com.
Yeah, Walmart Marketplace, and it's on ordersprayaway.com.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep pushing it. We're gonna try to get into some other stores, and get it now.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm telling you, I'm an unbiased partner here. He sent them to me, and I used them, and they're in my bathrooms now.
That's great.
It.
That's great. You know, it's funny because I have a couple Airbnbs, and I could really see putting this product in those Airbnbs.
Absolutely. I was thinking motels, right?
Yeah. There's so many uses for it.
You're not going to walk out with this. You might walk out with a towel. You're not going to walk out with this, I don't think.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Well, you might want to go buy one after you.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
Especially in a motel.
That's the thing. I think people are going to be surprised, like very surprised at that it's actually a little fun to use. I'm sorry. And I'm not the only one that says that. It really is a little fun to use.
I know. It's funny with the super potty trainer. I use this line because it's true. The kids get it and they say, wow, what is this? They think it's like a toy. So now the instant fear is gone. We've got all the measurements to make sure that it's secure. And they go, Mom, like, I want to go, it's a toy. I want to go use it in the bathroom. They start promoting their own potty training. And I just find it's the same thing. It becomes a fun device. And we're talking about the same thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. All right, guys, it's been awesome. I love having products like this because they are something that you're making, you're selling, you had some issues, had some things, and they span across so many different markets. And we, like you said, you've run into some issues, you've overcome them. You're trying to constantly make it better. You're going to be making it in the US, which is great. So yeah, I love these kind of stories because they really show the inventors out there that they can do it. I think it's a lot of fun to have this kind of product on, right, Chris?
Absolutely. I love it. And we'll keep doing it. I think it's, we got a pretty good following now. A lot of people asking to be on questions, and I think we'll just keep doing it because there's so many wonderful stories of how somebody had an idea, literally an idea, and now can see their product in retail.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very good. All right, we're going to close the show up. I thank you guys all for listening out there. Hopefully you've learned a couple things. You see that you can do it, and go on out there and get this product. I thank Anthony for coming on today, giving us the real deal story of how he came up with this product. Not too many people would be able to come on to a program like this and let us know how he actually had that idea for a product, which is
aha moment.
that was an aha moment, is right. So I think it's pretty cool that we had that moment. So again, for myself, Carmen Danisco, for Mr. Christopher Guerrera, thank you for listening today to Made in America. And we will catch you next time. You all take care.